This is Joe Biden, the President of the United States. Within a 9-day period, several videos had emerged featuring Joe Biden looking, well... First, while in Normandy for a D-Day event, Biden seemed to have an issue with sitting down in a chair.
The Honorable Lloyd J. Austin III, Secretary of Defense of the United States of America.
Now, there are two things going on here. First of all, for most people, it shouldn't take this long to figure out how to sit in a chair. It just looks incredibly awkward. Second, if you look at alternative footage of the event, you can see that everyone is supposed to stay standing, including the audience, until after the next speaker was announced. But Biden started ahead of everyone.
Secretary of Defense of the United States of America.
And again, it didn't help that he was fumbling and bending over so slowly. This is why poll after poll find that Americans think that Joe Biden is too old to serve a second term. Next, there was this video from the White House Juneteenth celebration where Joe Biden looks like he's freezing up.
One more time, come on.
Then, 3 days later in Italy, Joe Biden was watching a skydiving presentation along with several leaders from the G7. But then suddenly, Joe Biden starts wandering away from the rest of the group towards one of the skydivers, which led the Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni to grab Biden's arm and lead him back to the group. I'm sorry, but a G7 leader needing to run after Joe Biden like he's a toddler? This is not normal. Then, days later, at the end of a glitzy fundraiser in LA, Joe Biden, along with Barack Obama, are waving to the audience. But then, inexplicably, Biden stops moving, and Obama grabs his arm to start leading him off the stage. Now, to have this many incidents occur in such a short amount of time is concerning. But instead of taking an objective look and thinking, maybe there's something to this, the left-wing media is more interested in running cover for the White House.
There seems to be a sort of rash of videos that have been edited to make the president appear especially frail or mentally confused. I'm wondering...
Stop! Notice how Associated Press reporter Will Weissert framed the question. It's not that Biden appears out of it. No, it's that the videos have been edited to make him appear out of it. But for the record, each video clip that I showed you has not been edited to make Biden look frail or mentally confused. He's doing that on his own.
I'm wondering if the White House is especially worried about the fact that this appears to be a pattern that we're seeing more often.
Yeah, and I think you all have called this the cheap fakes video, and that's exactly what they are. They are cheap fakes video. They are done in bad faith.
Oh, I see. It's not that Biden is looking frail and confused. It's bad actors manipulating video footage to make him look frail and confused. Got it. Again, for the record, YouTube, every clip I've featured is raw footage from each event. It is not misinformation, it is not manipulated, and it is not fake. But according to Cringe, it is. Here she is specifically referring to the incident in Italy.
I mean, look, that was, as I said, it was a cheap, a cheap fake. That was definitely a cheap fake. It was. This was widely fact-checked. That video was widely fact-checked.
So let's take a look at one of these fact checks and see what exactly they're claiming. Here's a segment from CBS News with Chief White House correspondent Nancy Cortez.
Cheap fake clips went viral on social media and were picked up by some news outlets. Take a look at this clip, for example. It shows Biden and other world leaders watching a skydiving demonstration before the president is seen walking away and looking in another direction.
Okay, pause. For clarity, CBS News is claiming that this clip is digitally altered. So let's compare the actual raw footage with the so-called cheap fake.
It shows Biden and other world leaders watching a skydiving demonstration before the president is seen walking away and looking in another direction.
Did you see the difference between the two clips? Of course he didn't, because it's the same exact footage.
Outlets claimed that he was sort of just aimlessly wandering away. The clip amassed millions of views within just a few hours.
Oh my God, this is so stupid. He was wandering away. That's the whole point. But instead, CBS News is arguing, oh, well, he had a reason for wandering off.
If you widen out, you can see that he was talking to one of the members of the military that was participating in that demonstration.
But you don't need to widen out because this so-called digitally altered video already shows Biden talking and giving a thumbs up to someone. And you see this label? That means it was fact-checked by CBS News Confirmed, which is a special unit at CBS dedicated to combating misinformation. So you know it's legit. But great job, CBS News. You're doing God's work.
This was widely fact-checked. That video was widely fact-checked, including by conservative media, on what happened, what occurred. And to their credit, we have a conservative Washington Examiner did call them out as well, calling out the New York Post.
So Karine is referring to the New York Post's coverage of Biden wandering off, labeling him as meanderer-in-chief. Good one. But Karine's claim that the Washington Examiner called out the Post is a lie. The Washington Examiner article she is referring to is not remotely a fact check, but it does quote UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak. He went to go to talk to the pilot, one of the parachute jumpers, Sunak said. He went to go shake all their hands. The British leader then explained that Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni ushered Biden back because all of the skydivers were set to come over to greet the leaders. Now, that is not a debunking, and it is not a fact check. It's simply quoting what a world leader said was going on at the event from his perspective. It's called reporting. And anyway, that additional detail doesn't debunk anything. In fact, it makes it worse. Think about it. Joe Biden was Roombaing over to the skydivers to shake their hands, despite the fact that it was planned in advance that all the skydivers would come greet all the leaders in the group a few minutes later. But the White House and the media are acting like Joe Biden has never ever wandered off before, and that the Republicans are creating these moments out of whole cloth.
Important international issue.
There's a lot of important international issues, but we're here to talk about America. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Mr. President.
And again, regardless of camera angles or who posted it or whatever, the main takeaway from the G7 incident is that Joe Biden wandered away from the rest of the group, and the Prime Minister of Italy had to go after him and grab his attention. That alone should be concerning. But CBS decided not to question it, and instead do the bidding of the DNC and the White House by repeating their talking points.
Anybody can take an image and manipulate it to make it look like it suggests something that didn't happen. Cheap fakes. Cheap fakes.
Cheap fake videos.
Cheap fake clips.
They're called cheap fakes for a reason.
And as we saw on Saturday, President Obama's office put out a statement. So I would refer you to that statement about what was being accused in those by others. And he said this did not happen in the sense of what people were saying they were seeing, right? Or what was being falsely reported that they were seeing.
Just as a reminder, Karine Jean-Pierre is a professional communicator who makes $180,000 a year paid for by your tax dollars. Congrats, America.
Let's not forget, President Obama, President Biden have a relationship. They are friends. They're like family to each other. And I think that's what you saw. You saw the president put his hand on the back of President Biden.
Notice that she's not addressing Obama grabbing Joe's arm after he was standing frozen for 8 seconds, but that's okay, because Karine is going to tell you what you saw.
And they walked off the stage after after taking questions or at an event taking questions from Jimmy Kimmel. That is what you saw.
In other words, Big Sister Corinne is telling you what you saw. So please reject the evidence of your eyes and ears. Absolutely Orwellian.
That is what you saw.
Finally, Karine Jean-Pierre addressed Joe Biden looking incredibly awkward at his own White House event. And honestly, it started out being the most acceptable answer she's ever given from the podium.
Okay, let's talk about Juneteenth. The president stood there listening to the music and he didn't dance. Excuse me, I did not know not dancing was a health issue.
And that would be fair, I guess. I mean, we all know that Joe Biden is the most awkward president in United States history.
I mean, just because you're standing up listening to music and not dancing, that is not a health issue.
Okay, whatever. Again, I think that it's a perfectly acceptable response. And she could have just left it there, but she couldn't because Karine Jean-Pierre is the worst White House press secretary in history.
If you look at the people who are around him, you look at the expanded video of the people who are around him, there were some folks who were not dancing either. And that has been fact-checked.
Yeah, Karine can't show you that fact check because it doesn't exist. So let's do Karine a favor and fact check it right now. Oh look, the expanded video shows that everyone is dancing, with the exception of Joe Biden and the Secret Service agent on the far right of the screen.
It's Juneteenth, y'all.
Anyway, the public at large ain't buying this whole cheap fakes narrative from the Democrats and the media. The only way to prevent these clips from existing is for Joe Biden to act like a normal human being. Anyway, that's it for now. Follow me on X at Don't Walk Run, and while you're at it, please subscribe to the channel. As always, thanks for tuning in, and I hope to see you next time. If there is next time.